Miss Kev. Over to you, Sushant.
Okay, this woman is a true fighter, very, very tough, very hardworking, one of the most desirable women in the industry and one of the top superstars. Please show your love for Katrina Kaif, Mumbai. Give it up. Huge round of applause. She is here at the India Today Conclave, Mumbai 2019. Katrina Kaif.
लड़के पप्पू होते and a पप्पू only needs a lollipop. पप्पू को लॉलीपॉप दिखाओ, अपने आप कंट्रोल में आ जाएगा।
गाँव वालों, ये जो बसंती है ना, बसंती, इससे मेरा लगन होने वाला था, लेकिन जो पीछे बैठी इस बुड्ढी मौसी ने बीच में भांजी मार दी। अब इस दुनिया में नहीं रह सकती मैं। गाँव वालों, तुमको मेरा आखिरी सलाम।
Yes, what an introduction, Kat. You like the presentation?
I have to agree, what an introduction. You have chosen some really special shots.
Amazing ones.
I love you, you're the best. It's too funny.
Amazing ones. And let's talk about you, Kat. I mean, we just saw the hustle, really, and the bustle. Talk to me about your career right now, Katrina Kaif. I see a new and improved Katrina Kaif after Bharat. I loved your performance in Bharat. I loved your performance in Zero as well, although it was a smaller role, but you were really good. And then in Thugs of Hindustan as well. So you came back, you worked with all the three Khans. Two films didn't work. Bharat crossed the 200 crore mark. What sort of zone are you in right now? And is this a new and improved Katrina Kaif?
Well, first of all, what is it? Evening, afternoon, evening. Good evening to everybody here. Hope you're all having a good time and enjoying the sessions. Do you see a new and improved Katrina Kaif? The answer to that is, the answer lies only with the people who make us who we are, which is our audience. Do I hope that people see a new and improved me? Yes. Do I feel that in the last 2 years, there's been some major changes in myself, in the way I approach my work, in the kind of effort I spent trying to learn and further my craft, learn new things in my craft, learn new approaches, just find new ways to approach my work. I think what I felt is whenever I've been uncertain at times in my life or felt a bit lost and aimless, not knowing what to do, a little bit unguided, I always felt rather than looking outside or looking to another person for the answers, if first you find and you sit with yourself silently and you find inside you what is it that's bothering you, what is it that feels empty inside you and making you feel restless. And when I kind of did that about 2.5 years ago, the answer that came to me was that I was finding that I was not learning anything new. And that's my fault, that's my responsibility. I was feeling that I was on repeat a lot of the time, like a lot of the things I was doing I was feeling was a little bit similar or repetitive, and I was feeling uninspired. Now if I feel that, automatically it is no other way that the audience is not going to feel that. And what the same thing goes for the exact opposite, that if you feel inspired, if you feel that you're learning something, if you feel that you're in a place where you're truly engaged with your work and you're working from a place of clarity, openness, you're confident about your approach, that will resonate with the audience. And I think for me, I saw that really strongly in both Zero and Bharat. Like, I've had, good reviews, I've had bad reviews, and you have mixed reviews. But when I saw the reviews for Zero and Bharat, it kind of reaffirmed my faith in what I already felt, which was that if your process is solid and you really have, put your homework in, and you've given everything you can in your prep, it shows, it resonates. It's not hit and miss anymore. You do land where you need to land.
Yeah, but Katrina, we've had many conversations over the years, and I just have one problem with that, because no doubt you're one of the most hard working women in the industry, very, very tough. You give it your all. But then why do you allow sometimes yourself to be reduced? Like Thugs of Hindustan, it wasn't much of a role. And then people say, oh, she's just dancing in the film. When you get a full-fledged role, you always shine in the film, from Namaste London to, let's say, Ajab Prem Ki Gazab Kahani, right now to Bharat, even that bit role in Zero. Whenever you have a meteor role, you always perform well. Then why do you go? I mean, it's easy to say no to a film. It's not that difficult. You're a top star. You can say no to a film.
This is a tough question for me, because see, I get what you're saying. Yes, you do have a responsibility to your audience, and that is something which I think was a learning lesson, a little bit of a lesson for us to learn, for all of us associated with the film, not just me, for different reasons. But in going into the film, the intention was right. It seemed like a really fun Pirates of the Caribbean Indian version that we were putting together, and it just seemed like they were trying something really spectacular. Now, with a project of that size, you either land it huge and it would have been the biggest film of all time, because it opened the biggest day of all time in Indian cinema, but the risk is also that much higher. If you don't meet the expectations, if you don't match the expectations, your fall is that much greater. But that is with everything mammoth that is of that size. But in going in, it seemed like this was a huge endeavor. Of course, I'll tell you very honestly today, when Adi called me in for the meeting, I said, Adi, let me play the role which was later played by Fatima, which was the more warrior girl. I said, Adi, that's more me. I'm physically more that way. I would love to do it. He had not cast anyone in the role yet. And I was like, let me do that. But and he's also a dear friend. I mean, I've done 5 or 6 really successful and what I consider to be really special films with YRF. I've done New York. I've done, which was for me a super special film. I've done Jab Tak Hai Jaan with Yash Ji. I've done the Tiger series. So I have a lot of respect and confidence in Adi. So when he says that this is something new and we can try this in this way, you also have that belief. You build up that rapport with someone. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. That is also part of being in the film industry, is that you have to learn to have thick skin. You have to have thick skin. I mean, people always say, what advice do you give to your sister? Because my younger sister is also an actor who is trained for 4 years at least Strasbourg, and she's also getting into the film industry. And that, I always start saying, oh, I tell her this, I tell her that. And then a few days ago, I realized that actually that's not important. The one thing I can recall myself saying to her again and again and again is, you cannot take things personally and you cannot be sensitive. You cannot, that doesn't mean you don't have feelings. Of course, you have to accept the way we feel. We're all humans, we all have emotion, but you cannot take things personally. You have to accept that it's still a business, and you have to have thick skin, and you have to be able to be strong and have a exterior and a demeanor that will allow you to get knocked down and get back up.
Right. The topic of discussion over here was Interstellar, my journey into Bollywood from another planet. And you did come from an amazingly, it was a crazy journey. You'd been to 13 countries, and then you came over here to India, and you told me that it was like I was in paradise when I came to India. And you were a model, started off as a model, went through the drill, agencies, soap commercials, all of that. How did cinema happen for you? Like, how did you ultimately get into cinema? Because you wanted to be a model.
Yeah. I think it's quite common that the models, especially the well-known models, get called in for castings in film. So at that point, I'm not sure which coordinator, but I was called for a film called Sarkar, which was with Ram Gopal Varma, and we had a meeting with him. I did that film, and then from there it kind of, I think the second film was with Raj Kanwar, with Akshay Kumar, called Humko Deewana.
That was quite an experience.
That was quite an experience. Really good learning ground. But that's kind of, it's kind of was a natural progression. But that was exactly for me what, at that time the industry was very different than it is now. Like when I see the way it is now, I'm like, wow. I mean, it's just, there's so much changes, and changes for the better.
I think you should tell our audience.
Changes for the better.
Remember David Dhawan, you told me Maine Pyar Kyun Kiya, how impatient he was. Imagine young Katrina Kaif just starting off, and the director's like, if you can't get it right in the first take, that's it, just move on. Iska scene kaato, Salman ka over the shoulder shot lo, aage chalo.
Not Salman, forget Salman, Govinda. The king of improvisation, the master of comedy. And this is like my, I think, third film. And that time, the bound scripts were not written for a lot of films. So the lines are kind of given to you impromptu on set. And David Uncle when you're doing the shot, he comes into the frame sometimes. He actually comes into the frame because he watches you like this. And if you're lagging, if the energy's not holding, you hear this, you've had it from him. But I think that was a good learning ground, because you're thrown into the deep end of, the pool, so to speak, and you either drown or you really quickly learn to kind of find your way and find your feet. So the first thing that I learned was make friends with the assistant directors, because the minute that director fares the dialogue, you need that director to come running to you to the van and give it to you, so that you at least get a little bit of time with your lines. Now, of course, that's not the way it is anymore. Now I think cinema has evolved and grown and changed leaps and bounds, and now we have ample time, and that preparation that you get to live with your character and to put that work in, it makes all the difference.
Right, and from there, how do you think cinema has changed? As you said, it's evolved, but today when you work on a project, how do you decide what to do? As I already asked you, is it all about the big production houses that, okay, Adi will call me, can't say no to him? Because all the discussion that we had having on the India Today Conclave over here is about content. That content is ultimately king in today's time.
This is a really an interesting topic, which I know is on everyone's mind right now. Yes, of course, content is king, and that goes without saying. That I think the exposure that everyone has now, due to the influx of the digital platforms like your Netflix, your Hotstars, your Amazon, is so huge that everyone is starting to demand and expect a higher quality, which is fantastic, and it should be. Everyone has kind of been forced to pull up their socks and kind of see that, what is it? Are we really matching the writing standards, and are we on that level of storytelling? We are definitely seeing that. I mean, you're seeing films. I saw a film a few days ago called Article 15. I don't know if anyone here has seen it, but it's Ayushman's film. It's a fantastic film. I mean, it's just like, it's outstanding. It's an outstanding film. I mean, talking about Ayushman, he is really, really cracking that genre of storytelling, entertainment, but also saying some important things. And we are seeing that kind of cinema come. Having said that, I am also a believer that everyone does not need to, when something becomes successful, sometimes everyone starts following that same mold. It's like a herd mentality. Everyone goes here, everyone goes here. I think the key is to find what suits you and what works for you. I wish I could be like Ayushman, but the thing is that he has his strengths and I have my strengths, and we're very different, people as people. So for him, what might work for him might not work for me. I will have to, my battle and my struggle and my journey from here will be what works for me that still resonates with the audience.
But you can't play it safe. I mean, you have to take that risk and decide.
You have to take the risks, and you have to just find where are the risks that are genuinely resonating with you. Like in Zero, although maybe the film had not the best outcome in the end, but that character I knew was something which would make a mark, because the emotional journey and everything of that character, I think it was enough for you to hold on to. You know, you had that there. So it's about finding the stories. It's about finding the stories and then trying to follow your instinct. It's about what we were talking about. It's finding the balance between your instinct and fear. Like, when is fear stopping you, and when is it, you know, your instinct telling you, no, this is not right for you? So that if you're able to decipher that, then I mean, then you're going to operate from a very honest place.
Yeah, but talking about that, you know, you played it very safe till now, and you are looking forward to that risk. But the one time that you actually took a risk and you wanted to settle down, that didn't work for you. Coming back from there, what happened there? I mean, did you really want to settle down then? And when it did not work, was it tough coming back and then again, starting all over again?
You know, it's not really. It wasn't really honestly about anything like that. It was a relationship. I think all relationships are. I think relationships are the biggest learning curve for all of us in life. And what you learn, what you take away from it, what you give, what you get from it, that is really the part that challenges you the most as a person. It can get into you and really show you your innermost fears, your weaknesses, your strengths, and it's also the most beautiful part of life, I think, you know, the human relationships we have with each other. Of course, any relationship that doesn't work out, I think every second person has been through, you know, an unpleasant, you know, relationship or a bad breakup in their life, and the main thing that you take away from that is, rather than, you know, what's happened has happened, like the past is gone, but is what do you learn from that? What do you learn from it to make sure that you, rather than putting the blame on somebody else, or rather than, you know, thinking of all the negative reasons why it didn't work out, I think what you take away from it, that how do you make sure you hold on to yourself and you keep the responsibility of your happiness in your own hands and not in somebody else's hands.
But you wanted to start a family. Is that goal now somewhere back of your mind? Or is
I've always believed in having a family. I come from a family of 6 girls, so I believe greatly in family. I believe in marriage. I think family is first. I think above all else there is family, and you have to. That's like the bond which is unbreakable. Whether it's your mother, whether it's your sisters, whoever it is, like that's my number one driving force in my life. Like whatever I do first in my life is to make sure that they are all happy and comfortable, and as everything, you know, everything within my power that I can do for them.
Moving on, you've become quite the fitness icon actually, and I can see the six-pack look, and you've got you're really working hard. Give us some fitness tips. I mean, you are exceptionally fit.
You know, there are no shortcuts in life. Yeah. There are no shortcuts in life, and I know it's boring and it's not what people want to hear, but you just have to be continuously disciplined. It's just discipline. There isn't any shortcut.
Please share your diet with everyone, because I was shocked when I saw your diet.
Nobody here wants to hear my diet.
Very, very strict diet.
We all know, what it is. It's
just
a choice. It's just a choice. So when I was at dinner last night, I'd gone out for dinner with some of my girlfriends. There was some grilled chicken on a plate, and then there was a pizza. And I looked at that pizza and I was like, I love you, pizza. Wow. And I did. I felt it in my heart. My heart was overwhelmed with love for this pizza. And I knew that I have a Reebok shoot coming up in 3 days, and I ate the chicken. That's it. It's as simple as that. And we just have to decide, is it worth it for us? But ultimately, jokes aside, I think the one thing that's important is not how you physically look. That's just that's your decision. You know, what kind of physique you want to have. Like Akshay Kumar, for example. Akshay Kumar is always lecturing me, always giving me lectures about being just lean, and we don't need to lift weights in the gym, and we should just be naturally lean, and that's what works for him. That's his, you know, his ideal physique. Your physique, you should choose what's right for you. But just remember that you only have one body to live this life in, and just make sure that you're taking care of it the best you can, because it's going everywhere with you.
We are going to take audience questions, because Katrina wants to do audience questions. So please get your questions ready. I'm going to come to you in just a moment. Just think about it, and I'm coming to you. But before that, Kat, now the future. You know, I just saw you with Salman, and Salman was cheering for you at the IFA Awards. He's really been this guardian angel, you know, for you. Talking about this equation with Salman and working together in the future, because you've had a huge hit with Tiger Zinda Hai, Ek Tha Tiger, all those films, and now continuing with that.
You know, I think what you said is entirely right. It's been a friendship that's lasted 16 years. He is that a really true friend. And I know there's been a lot of speculation, and people, you know, sometimes think this and think that. But the bottom line is, he is today, as we stand and as we speak, he's a true friend. He's a solid person who is there for you when you need him. May not be in touch, you know, all the time. He's also very busy. You know, he works every single day. And but the bottom line is that when he's there, he supports. You know, he stands beside his friends, and that's his quality as that's his quality as a person, and that's to me, I think, a wonderful quality.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Wonderful quality.
Okay, do we have the mics in the audience? Yes, the gentleman over here.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. So, you know, we have seen Katrina as a spy. We saw Katrina as a passionate acrobat in Dhoom. But, you know, I want to go back 8 years before, 2011. And one of the work which, you know, is wonderful for me was that Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. So when are we going to see that Katrina back again?
You know, so I was actually with Zoya last night. That was the dinner I was at. And I have to tell you, this is the third time I have said to Zoya, Zoya, do a sequel. Please do a sequel. I said the love that film has from everyone. It's unanimously the film that everyone points out, not just to me, but I know to Ritik, to the boys, to Farhan, to Zoya. The love Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara has still is so incredible. So I'm like, why can't the story just pick up from now? Like, this 2011. Now, what happened, we assume, was Leila and Ritik's character would have gotten married, right? Because that's how the wedding was there in the film, in the last scene. And Kalki and Abhay's character had split up, and Farhan was starting this relationship. So now, where could these people be? You know, in the kind of issues we face in today's world, the kind of hecticness, the kind of balance between work and life, like, just pick up the story from there, and I think it would just be incredible. Every time she says, yes, it's a great idea, but I hope so. I really hope that one day she makes the sequel.
So we'll start a Twitter campaign.
Let's start a Twitter campaign, please, sir. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Anybody else? Okay, the gentleman over there. Okay, the lady over there.
Hi. I would like to ask you, can you give us some tips for the freshers who are trying to get into this industry?
Advice for people who want to join the industry, the newbies.
You know, I always say the same thing, and that's the one thing that I've continuously maintained and that hasn't changed over the years, is that please sit with yourself first, and please decide very strongly and very deeply inside you that you cannot do anything else in your life apart from being an actor at this point in your life. Because if it's, you know, if you're just toying around with the idea, like, you know, let me see, let me dabble, it has to be your waking thought, your sleeping thought. It has to be in your blood that this is all you want to do. You have to live it and breathe it, because it's genuinely tough. It's genuinely tough. It's a lot of hard work, and it is a tough profession. That's what I would say.
Does that mean that we should not have a plan B at all?
According to me, it means exactly that. If you have a plan B, that means you have the option of failure. You can't have the option of failure. So if the option of failure is there, you will opt for that. It will automatically happen subconsciously. If you are determined to be an actor, then go into it saying, come what may, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, like here, of course, there are stories here as well, but I mean, I hear a lot of stories of actresses like Naomi Watts in English films and Hollywood who have tried for 9 years before they got their first break. You know, so that's the kind of determination and persistence I think you have to have when it comes to acting. And hopefully it won't be 9 years.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sri Raghav. So since you're self-made, after which movie or which moment did you realize that, yes, I've made my mark or found my place in
I mean, I don't think anyone can ever. I don't believe anyone can ever say I've arrived, because honestly, it's a journey. It's not a destination. Being an actor and being in this industry is genuinely a constantly evolving and growing journey. And I think it was something that Amit ji said once, which always stayed with me. If there's nowhere else for you to go, then you're done. You know, so even someone like Amit ji, you see him at his age, it's shocking. I mean, his intelligence and his passion and his, you know, he's got the pulse of everything happening in the industry. And that's the attitude that you have to have. It has to be, you have to give a lot of yourself. You have to give a lot. I mean, I do believe a lot of people say that it's a, you know, it's a privileged profession, no doubt. I think that, and I'm a person who really believes in that acting's a profession which you really, really are lucky to be in. But you also have to give, like, you have to give your life and soul to it. So coming to your question, sorry, the point is that I don't feel there was ever a point, or there's ever a point where you feel you've arrived. I think what happens is you feel that you're confident in yourself at work, and you feel that, okay, yes, I'm enjoying the process of acting, and I'm enjoying the process of finding this character, rather than it being more about nerves. So I think for me that process kind of came around, I'd say around New York, the film New York, which I think was, no, sorry, I maybe Ajab, which was 2009, I think, yeah, the Rajkumar Santoshi film. Then I'd really started enjoying it. Like I used to look forward to, I would do my makeup so quickly in the van. I would just want to run out the door and be on set. And how it worked was Rajkumar Santoshi. He himself is a fabulous actor, fabulous. And he shows and enacts the whole scene. And you as the actors just watch him and copy him. And, you know, obviously make it your own, but it used to be just phenomenal. Like, just joy being on those sets.
He's amazing. We are completely out of time, but Katrina, what's next for you? Very quickly.
You have a bell?
Yes.
You actually have a bell?
Yes. It's going to ring again.
I cannot believe this. Go
It's
ahead,
gonna
you have a
ring
bell.
again. It's going to ring again. So get me that answer. What's next
They
for you?
really do that.
Yes.
They chase you off stage with a bell. Wow, I love it. What's next? I have Suryavanshi coming up. I am, hopefully, fingers crossed, launching my beauty label in the end of October, November, which has been 2 years in the making, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's something which is very dear to my heart, and for me, it's more than just makeup. It's really what I want to say about beauty, what I feel about it, and what I feel I want to say about you know, how we interpret beauty today, what it means to me today, and what I want to say with it. So I'm really, really looking forward to that, and hopefully some great scripts and some really, really interesting projects where I can yet learn new things and reinvent and explore myself as an actor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Katrina Kaif.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina, for that lovely conversation. Can we request you to stay on stage for just a minute? Can we request Mr. Puneet Anand